Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kip Wallace with you here in the BTW 21 News Studios, where we are covering a developing news situation that has occurred around the 3 o'clock hour on Dunlap Street in the city of Martinsville. We're going to take you now to Dunlap Street. Folks, I'm going to tell you that this was a very scary scene earlier this afternoon. Brandished a weapon and fired several shots. Now that triggered a call to the 911 system and sent the Martinsville Police Department along with the Martinsville Sheriff's Office there quickly to the scene. Now here we see Martinsville Police Chief Mike Rogers, who was on the scene, along with a number of his lead investigators, patrolmen, K-9 units, and again, Martinsville City Sheriff's Department deputies there on the scene as well. Again, this occurring at about 3 to 3:15 this afternoon. Now, from what we understand at this hour, an argument broke out among neighbors across the street. There were words exchanged, very heated words, and at some point, apparently, a handgun was produced and several shots were fired. Now, the investigation is still ongoing at this hour, but we can tell you, in fact, folks, we're going to show you in just a few moments the actual arrest taking place and the female being taken into custody and placed inside the Martinsville Police Department cruiser. Again, this is Dunlap Street, closest to Church Street. Now, these are some of the folks we believe that were involved in the argument. They were still arguing back and forth. Police Chief Mike Rogers there reassuring neighbors that the situation has been handled and taken care of. The chief was on the scene immediately following this shooting that is probably less than 2 miles from the Martinsville Police Department and less than 1.5 miles away from Moss Street, where the most recent murder in the city of Martinsville has taken place. So obviously the police department of the city of Martinsville making sure that they respond in force whenever a report of shots fired occur. Now here you can see investigators and patrolmen who are continuing the investigation. They are looking inside of this apartment. We're going to show you a close-up of this in just a few moments. But it was believed that the woman who fired the shots was inside this home. Again, the Martinsville Police Department along with the City Sheriff's Department responding to the scene there. Phone calls being made. Seemed like at one point everybody on this scene was on a cell phone. But we are bringing you these shots of the situation that occurred around 3 o'clock this afternoon on Dunlap Street, where it appears that shots were fired into the air in relation to a dispute between neighbors. Again, the argument broke out this afternoon. In fact, at times while the police were there, the argument actually continued. You're going to see a woman being put into handcuffs, and the argument does not stop there. Now, we do want to let you know that this is raw video. This is straight from the scene. We left this scene probably less than 20 minutes ago. Again, investigators here communicating back and forth as this investigation continues. The police are expected to remain on Dunlap Street for a period. Now you can see the Martinsville Police Department placing the young woman in cuffs. They're going to be leading her from the scene to the patrol car. Again, the reports of shots being fired on Dunlap Street. We can confirm one arrest. And again, I want to apologize in advance for the shaky quality of the video here. I'm going to try to attempt to move the camera. But at this point, there are still catcalls going back and forth across the road. These people are still exchanging words. You're going to see here in a moment that she continues to respond to those who are across the street. Now, those individuals are being questioned by the police at this hour. Here you can see the police attempting to quiet down the scene to try to restore calm. Obviously a very, very tense situation. Whenever you have high temperatures and tempers and firearms, it can be a very dangerous situation. Again, and here they are continuing to speak even as she's being put into the patrol car. And here you can see the officer making sure that she's safely inside that car. Now, the investigators, again, are expected to return to the scene this afternoon to continue to question eyewitnesses to try to find out exactly what has happened. Now, we do not have the name of the alleged shooter at this hour, but we are continuing to await a press release from the Martinsville Police Department in regards to this incident. Again, multiple units of the Martinsville Police Department responding. We do want to make it absolutely clear, it doesn't appear that there are any injuries related to this incident. But whenever you have gunfire, especially given the situation that developed less than a mile and a half away at Moss Street, the police are going to respond in force. This is the home, apparently, where the shots were fired. We understand, according to eyewitnesses who have spoken to us, that the woman apparently was standing on this porch when those shots went off. Folks, we want you to stay tuned to BTW 21. We'll continue to give you breaking news coverage as details become available. We'll be right back.